Whether you operate one forklift or thousands, one location or hundreds, the new My Toyota customer portal can help you optimize your operation and material handling equipment. This one-stop, free-to-use platform is designed to help you take control of your information and make smarter decisions, all at the touch of a button. Register and access your data today at my.toyotaforklift.com. That's my.toyotaforklift.com.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton from the New Warehouse Podcast. I'm back here at Promat 2019, and I'm at the Humatics booth on the Automate side of the show. We're going to talk to the CEO of Humatics, David Mindell, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what it is that Humatics does and what they got going on at the booth, and kind of what else is going on with their company as well. So David, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So tell us a little bit about Humatics and what is it that Humatics does.
So Humatics is the first four letters of human and the last four letters of robotics. And we build precision navigation systems as means of tying together three key elements: humans, robots, and infrastructure. And so think of it like a kind of indoor GPS. GPS is, of course, a miracle. It works all over the world, but it only gives you an accuracy of about 30 meters, and it doesn't work indoors, doesn't work in cities, doesn't work underground. We build navigation for the built environment, cities, indoors, underground, accurate to centimeters and even millimeters. And so we see navigation as the glue that ties today's very complex integrated systems, integrated warehouses together. So we have robots driving around this show that sort of know where they are, but they get lost in bright light. They get lost in places where there's a lot of dynamic structure. They get lost in wide open spaces. They can't function outdoors. Our system is an absolute reference positioning system that enables robots to navigate within a warehouse, fulfillment center. Think of it as laying a centimeter accurate grid down on any facility.
Interesting. Yeah, so the robots, they kind of lose their bearings a little bit when they get out in the open, when they have bright lights, like you said. So you guys are kind of honing that in and giving them kind of a guide almost, like they're going on, like they were able to open their own phone and go on Google Maps and tell them exactly where to go, right?
Exactly. They some robots, the sort of simpler AGVs today, follow magnetic tape. That's a huge pain point for our customers. We think of ourselves as a tapeless solution. We can navigate a simple AGV with no magnetic tape, but with the same reliability and kind of robustness. And then for the newer AMR, autonomous mobile robots, we provide some of them have navigation systems that are good for 90% or 95%, but they have problems with faulting out or getting lost or when power fails, and or they don't work indoor, outdoor, or in certain environments. We give them a safety layer that goes underneath all that raises the robustness from 90% to 100%, but in kind of places that our customers and I think your listeners work, 90% is basically zero and 100% is the name of the game. So
it's 100% or nothing, right?
Yeah.
So what are you guys actually demonstrating here at the exhibit? I see like a small robot here.
So what we're demonstrating here is we have 4 beacons up on top of the around the booth.
Okay, I see them.
They're only about 5 meters away, but in a typical application they'd be 100 or even up to 500 meters away.
Okay.
And those beacons provide a grid here, and then the robot has our equipment under the hood, and the robot is then using the navigation system as its own mapping internal GPS, and it's just following a trajectory for that.
Interesting. Okay.
We also have a crane solution, which also demonstrates the core technology where we can measure the positioning of an overhead crane, which is more of a 1D kind of simple indoor distance measurement, but very robust to temperature, very robust to indoor, outdoor weather, all the things that optical systems have a lot of trouble with.
Yeah, that's good. So is the implementation, is it just the sensors, or is there anything else involved?
It's the sensors, and then there's a software layer we call Kinetic OS, which manages the spatial business rules that the vehicles follow. We don't actually control the robots. That's left to the robot vendors. We don't make robots. But we tell them where they are. And you tell any robot where it is, you've done half its job for it.
Yes.
Frees up the cost and the processing power and all the energy to do the things that the robot really wants to do.
Interesting. So in terms of implementation, then it sounds like it would be somewhat simple to implement in an existing operation.
Exactly. I mean, this robot spent maybe half a day with our engineers just connecting into the system. In many cases, we just plug directly into the magnetic tape sensor if that's already there. And in other cases, we have a deeper integration. And then we have some OEM projects where we're really built in at the factory in the robots. And that's obviously a little more complex, but it's more integrated.
Interesting. So you're really kind of providing a solution to make robots better.
That's certainly true, and also to work in human environments. I think the future of, if you look at automated fulfillment centers today, they're really not very collaborative. The robots are walled off from the people, or even if they're not, the robots don't know where the people are, even if they know where they themselves are.
I've heard that they can.
What's coming with us is sort of empowering the people by giving them tracking on them. Then the entire system, humans, robots, and infrastructure, is a truly collaborative robot. We think of the whole fulfillment center, the whole warehouse as a robot, and you're then just optimizing and bringing materials to people and letting the people do their thing in the best way possible, and that's really the future, and that's why the company is Humatics. We're really about human-robotic collaboration at a large scale, more so than the simple collaborative robots you see here.
Interesting. It's a good perspective, because some people, I think, they think that robots are coming, so people are going away. But it sounds like your perspective and your view, the company's view, is that robots and people will continue to work together, but it's how to get them to work together better.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a researcher. I'm a professor at MIT. I've spent the last 20 years studying how autonomy works in human environments.
Yes.
And I would say the era of the lone robot is over. It was a 20th century idea to begin with. Never really worked that well. And time after time again in aviation and space flight and undersea exploration, where a lot of my background is, when robots succeed the best is when they work most closely with the people around them. And almost never are they really out there on their own, because the world changes too quickly and there's too much dynamism in the world, and they need to be adapted, and we still need people to do the things that people are great at.
Definitely, yeah, and I think that bringing the robots in is kind of takes more of the simple, mundane jobs, and then it kind of elevates other people's positions. And
exactly, which is one of the reasons that materials transport and kind of indoor and interior logistics is so important, because more and more companies, they want their workers to be building the airplane or machining the part or doing an inspection, and not walking around carrying stuff. That's not what they're best at.
Yeah, so that's what the robot is very good at. Right? Yeah, and if we can tell the robot where to go and where to put things properly, then I think we're getting a lot better.
Exactly.
Right.
Point A to point B is a huge opportunity.
Definitely, yeah. So is there anything else that the audience should know about Humatics?
We're growing, we're hiring. We're in Waltham, Massachusetts, which is the cradle of manufacturing in the United States.
Yeah.
We're next door to the place where the computers that landed on the moon were manufactured. And we're also in Huntsville, Alabama. So we're a company that's very much in the tradition of the great things that were accomplished in space flight and in aviation in this country, and we're applying a lot of those insights into the coming era in warehouse automation.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys are doing incredible things, very smart things as well. So if people want to find out more about Humatics, how can they do that?
Just humatics.com. Again, easy to remember, the first 4 letters of human and the last 4 letters of robotics.
Yes, I love that name, actually. Very clever.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for...
With the human first, by the way.
Human first, okay. I got that. I like that. All right, thanks so much, David, for being on the show. And we'll post all that information on our website as well. This has been Kevin for the New Warehouse Podcast at Promat 2019. Hey, guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. I'm here at Promat 2019 in Chicago. I'm at the Douglas Battery booth, and I'm with Brian Faust. And he's going to talk to us about Douglas Battery, What is it that they do? And also what types of products do they offer? And what are they showing off here at the booth as well? Brian, welcome to the show. How are you?
Kevin, thank you very much. I'm great, thanks. So a little bit about Douglas Battery is that we've been in business since 1921, started in North Carolina, and over the years have really developed ourselves into one of the premier industrial battery and charger manufacturers in the industry. We offer a full line of industrial batteries. Obviously, why we're here is primarily for forklifts, but for other applications as well.
Okay.
So we do flooded lead-acid batteries. We have different versions of those. We have our standard high-performance product, and then we have low maintenance.
Okay.
We also have an Arctic battery, which we developed about 15 years ago, specifically for cold storage applications.
Okay.
All of our products come with a basic 5-year warranty. So again, it's something that we stand behind, what we believe second to none in the industry versus our competition.
Okay.
Not only do we offer the full line of motor power batteries, but we also offer a full line of industrial chargers that match up with those, which is really what we're highlighting this year.
Here, right?
Yes, that's what's up on the wall here.
Yeah.
So our newest chargers are the new modular high-frequency type chargers.
Okay.
Those can either be standard charge or they can be opportunity charge profile. So it's just an upstart in the amp hour capacity of the charger. Go back into the battery, so recharge quicker, basically.
Yeah. That's always good.
Yeah, that's right. So, the modular design we came out with a couple of years ago, and that offers the ultimate flexibility for a customer that may want to grow in the future. Adding more modules to a specific cabinet size will allow him to go up in larger batteries, or if he wants to change his fleet in some form or fashion, then that offers that flexibility to be able to do that, while at the same time offering the efficiencies of a high frequency going back into the battery, which equates to faster recharge times, cooler batteries, which are longer life for those batteries as well.
Okay.
But the main charger that we're highlighting this year is our new Raptor charger. That's the newest, the Raptor charger. Yeah, so this is a fast charger. We have multiple versions of it. We have a 4-bay, we have a 6-bay, and we have an 8-bay modular type charger. Again, it's for the ultimate flexibility and really drilling down into a customer's needing, as opposed to just offering him one size of charger that might be way too big, or an undersized one that's not enough capacity to be able to recharge those batteries. So we introduced this just right at a year ago, actually, and we've had great success with it. And again, this is going to be for those higher throughput applications that they're going to need that 40 to 60% start rates on the charger. So it'll take a 50% discharged battery and recharge it within 4 hours versus a typical charger, which will take up to 8 hours on an 80% discharged battery. So again, it's for those high throughput type applications where there's no battery changing, and so they really just need to make sure that their lift trucks are constantly on the roll.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, uptime is a big deal.
That's right. Yeah, so, uptime's the key.
Yeah. So your batteries, talking about uptime, what's the expected charge life?
I'm not sure I understand the question. What's the expected?
So like a fully charged battery, how long can you expect?
So if it's in a standard application, the rule of thumb was always for an 8-hour shift.
Yes.
So if the battery and the truck are sized properly for the application, then it should be expected that it'll get through a full, let's just say, 8-hour shift, which is the typical. But what we've seen over the last, let's just say, 10 years is more of a migration towards opportunity charging or fast charging, like for our Raptor charger. But so the opportunity charge basically eliminates the need for any extra battery. So for a multi-shift operation, you'll be able to use that same battery for, let's say, 2 shifts or 3 shifts. If it's a lighter duty type application or medium duty, opportunity charging will certainly be able to get you through that. There's a trade-off when you do opportunity charging or fast charging, is that really the warranty of the battery starts to decrease at that point. I say that is that a normal warranty for a battery running an 8-hour shift, one shift a day, is for 5 years.
Okay.
But when you get into opportunity charging, we start to look at more the amp hour throughput. Okay, it's kind of like a car warranty at that point. You get a 5-year, 100,000 miles. Okay, so if you use up the 100,000 miles in 3 years, then that's when your warranty ends.
Yeah.
So the same applies on the batteries, is that we start to get into amp hour calculation versus cycle life.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you use up basically the rated amp hour capacity of that battery will normally get over 5 years, and you use it up in 3 years, then that's when the warranty ends. So it certainly changed the dynamics of our industry a little bit from that standpoint.
Definitely. So if somebody wanted to start to get your chargers or batteries into their operation, how could they go about doing that?
So we have 2 sales channels. Okay. We do all of our business either through independent manufacturers reps, either around obviously the U.S. We have representation in Mexico, Canada, the Caribbean, South America, and Central America as well. Those are predominantly where our distribution network consists of. So that's where the majority of our customers buy through. And then we also have a national account sales team that goes and we solicit larger end users, direct, that typically want to buy direct from the customers, or buy direct from the manufacturers, excuse me. So in reality, probably 80% of our sales go through our manufacturer's rep business. If you go to the Douglas Battery website, which is douglasbattery.com, we do have a rep. Customers can go on there and click on a particular state, and then that'll kind of drill down from there who would the local representative would be that they could contact to buy that. And then there's also a contact us area in our website where you can go and inquire, and I'll typically take those emails and respond accordingly if there are specific questions regarding Douglas Battery.
Okay, great. Brian, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for talking to the New Warehouse Podcast.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, it's Kevin with the New Warehouse Podcast. We are here at Promat 2019 in Chicago, and I am at the SICK booth. More specifically, I'm standing in the Smart Logistics Lab that SICK has here. We're going to talk to Rich, and Rich is going to talk us through what SICK is, what they do, and then he's also going to talk to us about the Smart Logistics Lab and the exhibit that they have here. So Rich, thanks so much for coming on. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, thank you.
Yes, good to talk to you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about SICK and what it is that you guys do?
Well, SICK has been around since 1946, and we're named after our founder, Dr. Erwin SICK. Okay. And he made the first photoelectric sensor back in 1946 and created the company, and been expanding ever since. Yeah. And so primarily, throughout history, we've been a sensor company, right, a hardware company. Yeah. But in the last 10 years, we've made a commitment that we want to be more than that, right? So we've begun packing more intelligence into our sensors, and really strive to provide better offerings around that, and now have reached the point where we're expanding and doing stuff well outside the sensor and hardware range. So realistically, we could actually be considered a software company now too, and an integration company as well.
Yeah. From my experience, I know you guys as a sensor because I have had them in my warehouse.
Yep.
So talk to us a little bit about what you guys have going on here at the booth.
We'll be back after a quick break.
You hear a lot about supply chains these days, because if the past couple years have taught us anything, it's that an efficient, well-managed supply chain is absolutely critical to keeping businesses successful and consumers happy. I'm Will Haywood, and I host a podcast called All Business, No Boundaries, where we talk about supply chains, how they work, what happens when they don't, and the innovations that are redefining what's possible in the world of logistics. Join me for insightful interviews with thought leaders and industry experts. We discuss how optimizing supply chains can break down the barriers that are holding businesses back. That's All Business, No Boundaries by DHL Supply Chain. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
All right. Well, I mean, we're hosting a whole bunch of our new products, right? We got Electra 621, our Package Analytics 4.0, our localization product, which we have termed asset tracking, right? Or asset analytics. Okay. We have showing our deep learning capabilities. We have new safety scanners out. We have our Visionary T. We have our brand new outdoor safety scanner, which nobody else in the market, can do. We're immune to rain and snow and fog.
Really?
So we don't fall strip based on those. So really exciting times.
Yeah. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about where we're standing, the Smart Logistics Lab, and what do you have going on here?
Yeah, well, this was creation because we really want to highlight our Industry 4.0 capabilities, right? Yeah. And, having said the Industry 4.0 word, I'll point you over to our Industry 4.0 factory over in Freiburg, right? Yeah. That it's a factory that's producing our GDC01 line, right? Yeah. 8 different families of that sector, presence sensing devices. Okay. So, through there it was built specifically, right, on I4O principles, meaning it's modular, autonomous, all the pieces are networked together. We're doing analytics on the data coming from the process so we can operate more efficiently. Okay. Our demo really takes you through the heart and the soul of the factory, and it really highlights the fact that, we not only believe in the I4O stuff, but we're living it on a daily basis as well. We practice what we preach, right? Okay. As well as, we're using 6 sensors to make 6 sensors, right?
I like that. That's good. Use your own product. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So it sounds like you guys are very much, keeping up with, kind of what I've been talking to everybody about here at Promat is the big theme is everything is the future and this Industry 4.0 that you're talking about,
sure.
And automation and robotics and all that stuff. So why don't you talk to us a little bit more? You mentioned the deep learning, so talk to us about that. Sure.
Well, I mean, right in front of you, we have a deep learning exhibit, right? Okay. So we're giving our customers the opportunity to, and I have a postcard in front of me, to draw one of eight different devices or pictures: a tornado, a butterfly, T-shirt, ladder, cloud, house, suitcase, wine glass. Yeah. And our deep learning algorithm can determine exactly what was drawn. Now, I have some samples here, so that's pretty obvious what it is to our users.
It's a wine glass, right? it's a cloud.
Well, it got my finger, so it thinks it's a house. As you can see, I'm not a hand model.
Got it.
So right. I mean, for what I think it's got some other things going on in there. Yeah. There, it's a cloud.
Got it.
Right. So we can replace that out. It can take it's on a 5-second loop, so. Right. So it just took another picture, and boom, it's a butterfly.
It knows it's a butterfly,
right?
Yeah.
So it knows, it's learned, right? We've taught it what a butterfly looks like in general terms, and likewise all the other pictures too. So it runs an algorithm based on what it sees, and picks it out and displays it, right? Now, practical application, right? This is cute, this is fun, but practical application is in a conveyor environment. We have it running on our MTV tunnel just on the other side of the booth, and through that we're determining a singulation, right? Is it one item? Is it multiple items on a conveyor? Is it bag or box, right? We're also determining if it has a hazmat label on it, right? So you handle different things on a conveyor different ways based on what it is. Now we can determine what it is and take appropriate action.
Interesting. So if you have your example of box versus bag, so you could actually know if it's a bag, do a certain divert. If it's a box, do a different divert.
Correct.
Very interesting. Cool. So what else should we know about SICK?
Well, I mean, we have a bunch of startup initiatives, right? Like the deep learning, and like you see to my right, your left, the localization, right? So now, traditionally we've been great with saying, we can track things on a conveyor and where they are at any time. But as soon as it went off the conveyor, where'd it go? Yeah. We don't know. But now we do. Now we have an offering around that. Now we can track your valuable assets anywhere around your facility, whether you're a factory or in distribution. It doesn't matter. We have a solution for you to track your assets.
Got it. So is that like a RFID?
It's using a technology called ultra wideband.
Okay.
Right. So much higher frequency.
Yeah.
Right, than your traditional RFID system.
Yeah.
And it has a bunch of extra features, right? As instead of just reading a tag, right? We're reading a tag along with a temperature and the barometer, so we can tell you how high you are in your facility. So if you store something on the second shelf, we can tell you it's on the second shelf, right? As well as has a gyroscope, so you can do inclination off that, tell whether you're in motion or not.
Yeah.
So once again, you save battery life by turning it off when you're not in motion, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need to update as often.
Interesting. Very interesting. So if people want to look more at the SICK solutions and what you guys are offering, how can they do that?
Well, I mean, we have a nice website at sick.com, sick.com.
Very easy to remember.
Yeah.
All right, Rich, thanks so much for talking to us.
All right, you're welcome,
Kevin. Enjoy the rest of Promat.
Thanks, you too.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. We're here at Promat 2019, and I am at the Panasonic booth. We're going to talk to Jim Dempsey, and Jim's going to tell us a little bit about the Tough Book division of Panasonic and how we can utilize those items in our distribution centers, and also a little bit about the products that they have on display here. So Jim, how are you?
Good. Glad to see you here today.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for talking to us. Yep. So why don't you tell us a little bit, obviously Panasonic is a large company, does many different electronic devices. Yep. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this division, the Tough Book division, is that what it's referred to?
That's right. So Panasonic, big company, right? The division that I represent is our mobile computing division. So most people will recognize the Tough Book brand, the rugged laptops that you see in military, fire, police. We started that market over 30 years ago and still are number one market share in that space. But when we get into these type of markets where we're here in Promat and the type of technologies that are used here, with the tablet technologies and handhelds. 6 years ago, we launched our first rugged tablets, again, using ToughPad brand, which is now turned back to Tough Book across the board. And then 3 years ago, we got into the handheld space. So now in this space, logistics, distribution, we have really a mix of products that a lot of our customers are using. So they may start with a laptop, then they'll go to a tablet, and then also handheld. So customers now can have one manufacturer across all form factors. But from a logistics perspective, we kind of focus on a couple different areas, one being the warehousing piece, but in a supply chain, right, there's different components to that, whether it be the retail store, the warehouse, the trucks, and then the manufacturing, right? So we kind of cover all of those. Today here at the show, what we're showing is kind of that middle piece where we're in the distribution center and what we do there. So from rugged scanning devices to voice picking applications, that can run on our devices. We've also introduced some new technologies that are not so much mobile computing based, but on the conveying system using projection and camera systems to be able to capture data. Because really for us, we're on the smart edge, right, of the supply chain. And that's where our devices live, but they're enterprise class, so that they can survive in the environments that they need to be in. We put an array of different types of data capture technology, like I said, voice scanning, cameras, to capture data at the point of activity, and then sends that back up into the ERP or WMS system that provides our customers with the ability to have a real-time view of what's going on throughout their environment.
Interesting that you've gotten into that space as well. So now the Tough Books, obviously, they're rugged and impact resistant. Now, what about in terms of temperature? So if we have like a warehouse that's cold storage, are they survivable in there?
Yes, so our products, just like the Tough Books, are made to be used in a wide range of environments. And just like our Tough Books get used out in mountains and in Alaska on pipelines, or even very hot environments, the handhelds themselves as well, and the tablets are designed to be able to survive in a variety of different environments, whether low temp or high temp environment.
Okay, great. So now you offer a full suite, it sounds like, all the way from the handheld to the tablet to the laptop. So what are you seeing is the most popular in terms of people who are operating in distribution centers?
Yeah, so two areas that we're seeing in the warehouse space. One is the vehicle mount terminals, the forklift mounts.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of those still have very old technology on them. They've been bolted on years ago, and with Windows CE, Windows Mobile going away, Microsoft pulling support, Android is making more of a play into the warehouse. So we're seeing a lot of, when the customers are getting rid of those vehicle mounts, they're making a choice of going to a tablet format. Because the tablet can be removed from the forklift when the forklift's not being used. So it allows them some flexibility for cycle counting or other things they need to do. So that's one area that we're seeing a lot of activity in the warehouse right now, going from a fixed mount to a flexible tablet-based solution. And then the other piece that we're seeing is on the handheld side. Again, because of the Microsoft end of life for Windows Mobile and CE, the choice is essentially Android, right? So you'll see here a new generation of Android class devices, getting away from the old pistol grip, brick on a stick with a keyboard, going to a more modern touchscreen interface that most people are used to, right? So that's happened. That wave is happening right now as well. So in those two areas, with regard to our mobile computing products, we're having a lot of success with our customers in those areas.
Okay, great. Is there anything else we should know about ToughBooks?
You know, we entered this market 3 years ago with zero market share, and now we're the number 3 player in the industry. So we very quickly have taken a market thank you. That we very quickly taken a market that was very mature, right? With just as we built the ToughBook space, we have competitors that built the handheld space. Yeah. And within, like I said, about a 3-year period, we're number 3, and we've been growing double digits the past 2-3 years. So hopefully that'll continue as we go forward.
Definitely. So if people want to find out more about the Panasonic ToughBook brand, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so we have being Panasonic, we do a great job of marketing. So we have a lot of properties on the web. So if you go to Panasonic.com or toughbook.com, a lot of information out there. There's plenty of videos like we're playing today here on YouTube. Yeah. So and we're also on social media. So whether it's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Yeah. So we do a very good job of getting that out there. So I would suggest anyone can go to any of those resources or properties to get a lot of information, and certainly can also give us a call, and we'll be glad to talk to them.
Okay, awesome. Jim, thanks so much for talking to the New Warehouse podcast, and I hope you enjoy the last day of Promat.
No, appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse podcast. We're here at Promat 2019 in Chicago, and we are at the Locus Robotics booth. If you guys remember our first episode ever, we had Bruce Welty of Quiet Logistics on as a guest. And he is actually one of the original founders of Locus, and his Quiet Logistics company is very much involved with Locus still as well. Yes, so we're going to talk today to Karen. She is going to tell us more about Locus Robotics, what they do, talk to us, I'm sure, about the Locus Bot, and also, what they're exhibiting here at the show. Very, very cool. I actually just got to do a demonstration and pick some items myself. So Karen, welcome to the show. Thanks for talking to us.
Great. Thanks so much for having me, Kevin.
Definitely happy to have you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Locus Robotics?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, we are a robotics company that was born out of the 3PL warehousing business. This is very much a case of necessity being the mother of invention. As we've seen the e-commerce space grow, and it's continuing to grow so rapidly every year, it became clear that the need to drive greater productivity among the workers and in the warehouses themselves was a really critical need. And so our robots help achieve that need by making those warehouse workers 2 to 3 times more effective. It's interesting that you said the robots are very cool, and they are very cool. Everybody who has a chance to see one should try to see one.
Definitely, yeah. They're like kind of like they seem like they have a personality.
They do. Yeah. They do. They're at one level they're sort of self-driving cars in your warehouse, but another level they kind of feel like puppies, don't they?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Actually, I was just looking at it, and it reminded me. I'm not sure if you. Familiar with the movie Short Circuit?
Of course,
with
number
Johnny
5.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God, I love that movie.
It is, and they're very lovable, and we anthropomorphize them all the time. I mean, I find myself always referring to the robot as he. He's doing this, he's doing that. Yeah. But I think the one thing, though, to take away is that while they are cool, I always try and tell customers, robots are cool, but cool doesn't pay the bills. If they weren't getting the job done economically, they would be of no value to our customers. Yeah. So the real key is that they are pragmatically very productive. There is a hardened economic benefit to them, and our customers are seeing 2 to 3 times the productivity, and they're realizing an ROI on these robots within just a few months. And that's what's making them successful. Not the fact that they're cool, but that doesn't hurt, but the fact that they're really getting the job done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the ROI you get in a couple months, I mean, that's amazing. And, working with them too, like I just did the demonstration, is unbelievably simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that, you really have a great product, and I think, talking to the person that was giving me the demonstration. Carrie, correct. I'm meeting a lot of people.
I know you are. Me too. I'm surprised I remember his name.
Yeah, so, the implementation that he was telling me about too, and we actually had talked to Bruce about this on the show, is really incredibly simple as well, correct?
Yeah, so there are a few different angles about this. I mean, one thing that's important, I think, for your listeners to understand is that when you think about robots, you think about the physical manifestation of the robot. There's a robot standing in front of you. But robots are really about 90% software.
Yeah.
And the software takes on many forms. Everything from robot navigation to integration with the WMS to the user experience. And all of those things have to come together to get the problem solved. So the first thing you mentioned was how intuitive and easy it is to use. Remember that if we're making human beings twice as productive, the way that we interact with those human beings has to be very natural and intuitive and frictionless. So we really focus a lot on that user experience, on making it as simple as possible. At the same time, we have to make sure that we're integrating with the other industrial software that exists in the warehouse in the form of the warehouse management system and the warehouse control systems to make sure that we're always aware of what's coming up in the queue, and so that we're able to help optimize that business. And then, of course, we've got at the robot part of the robot software, the navigation software, the robot has to know how to very fluidly move through the warehouse in an environment that's dynamically changing. Everything from moving vehicles like fork trucks to moving humans to carts. The environment's constantly changing, and the robot has to be able to adapt to that instantly. And our robot makes 10 decisions a second to think about what it's going to do to make sure that it's playing nicely in its environment.
Yeah, and I think one of the great parts about the Locus Pod is that from an implementation standpoint, you don't need to put anything into the floor or anything like that. And
you're right.
Yeah, I think Bruce had told me it's
there are no wires. There's not need to be. It's. Imagine you had a Tesla, self-driving car running in your warehouse. We do help the robot by putting some street signs up, so we put some stickers on.
Okay.
We need to make sure the robot has clear, unobstructed, latency-free access to Wi-Fi. So we put in some additional access points. That way the robots can all communicate with one another and with the server, again, friction-free.
Yeah.
And then we let them loose, and the robots, it's just like hiring a new fleet of workers.
Yeah.
It's just they're electronic, not human.
Interesting, yeah. And they kind of learn their way around, right?
Yeah, well, what happens is the first robot out there maps the space.
Okay.
And generally in a 100,000 square foot warehouse, it might take a couple hours.
Yeah.
But as soon as one robot maps the space, all the other robots are aware of that map. Any other robot that's in that environment will look at the same map. And the robots are constantly communicating with one another. Very similar to the way drivers communicate using Waze. I mean, no other driver is calling you up on the phone to say, hey, look out for the police car.
Yeah.
But through the Waze network, you learn that there's a police car up ahead, and you adjust your behavior. The robots will do the same thing in the warehouse.
So the robots become friendly with each other.
They do become friendly. They're but very independent of each other and independent of their workers, but always communicating.
Interesting. That's really, really interesting, actually. I think that, robotics and stuff is going so crazy, and, it's the newest thing, and I think that's definitely the future. And I think, the Locus Bot, what I like about it is that it makes it easier for the human worker to do their job.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and I think that's more of the way that robotics should go. Instead of eliminating human interaction, I think making them kind of cobots, right, is definitely a better way to go, and makes the operation more efficient and optimized more.
Well, at its best, technology makes human lives easier.
Definitely.
And we don't want to eliminate the need for humans. We want to eliminate the need for humans to do tedious, undesirable tasks. So there are still so many things that humans are best at, and having the dexterity to make a pick in the warehouse is one of them. But there's no reason why the human who has the grace and dexterity to make a pick also has to lug around a 200-pound cart laden with merchandise.
Definitely.
The robot can do that.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's great what you guys are doing. So if people want to find out more about the Locus Bot or interested in getting some kind of demonstration, how can they go about doing that?
Well, if they're visiting Promat this week, we'd love for them to stop by our booth where they can see robots running around in person. The robots operating as a very smooth fleet here at our booth. If they're not at Promat, then we encourage them to visit www.locusrobotics.com. And we have a number of different ways we can interact. We'd love to be able to do sort of a mini survey assessment. Maybe one of the best things for your listeners to do is to download. It's not quite ready yet, but we've just commissioned a new study from Forrester Research. That study will be published in about 3 weeks. Forrester has actually appeared in our booth here this week at Promat to present the findings of this study, which are very exciting. And if your listeners want to go to our website and sign up to be eligible to receive a full copy of the study, we will give it free to anyone who logs in. It's going to be about a 25-page study that talks about all the different factors to think about when evaluating the economic value proposition of putting new technology. They call it a total economic impact report. And even if you're not going to get robots, it's a really great way of thinking about all the different factors to take into consideration. So I would encourage that. We have a lot of videos on there that show the robots working for a living in real customer warehouses. We have customers talking about the improvements that they're seeing. So the website is the next best thing, but we'd love to meet people in person.
Okay, definitely, yeah. So we'll definitely share that if it's okay. The report when it comes out. So we'll put that with the blog post, with the podcast episode, and all of that great stuff. So thank you so much, Karen, for talking with the New Warehouse podcast, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, and really good luck on the future success of New Warehouse.
Thank you. Thanks. Hey guys, this is Kevin from the New Warehouse podcast. I'm in Chicago today at Promat 2019 at McCormick Place, powered by MHI. I have my first interview of the day. I'm here with JDA, and we're here with Matt Butler. He is the Director of Supply Chain Strategy, correct? Yes. He's going to talk to us a little bit about JDA and talk to us about what JDA is exhibiting here as well, and maybe a little bit about the industry. So, Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time for the interview. Happy to see you at Promat, definitely. So why don't you tell us a little bit about JDA, what JDA does, and what JDA is?
Yeah, so JDA is one of the leading application providers within the supply chain space, right? And we have a long history of providing best-of-breed solutions end-to-end across all of the different supply chain functions. So we have a particular point of pride when you look at the analyst community that we're the only company that's recognized as a leader within each one of those individual functional spaces, whether it be warehouse management, transportation management, supply chain planning, and even retail and assortment planning upstream, overseen by S&OP. So across the 5 Gartner Magic Quadrants, we're recognized as leaders, and when you look at other areas that aren't included in Magic Quadrants, such as workforce planning, labor forecasting, and scheduling, we also have leadership positions as those are evaluated in the other areas. And I say that because this is really our heritage. This is where we come from. This is the capabilities that we've assembled and developed over the years. And it provides a very strong platform for where we're going as an organization. And as we see the marketplace evolving, especially in supply chain software, people are looking for more holistic solutions. They're looking for enterprise-level visibility and orchestration across their supply chains end to end. And that's where JDA has been focusing our energies in providing better interoperability across that suite of products that we've traditionally brought to the market. But over the past recent years, we've also invested very heavily in the digital ecosystem that's going to allow us to provide real-time visibility and orchestration across all of those individualized assets that we've assembled over time. So it's a very exciting place to be with JDA, and a very exciting vision and roadmap that we have to partner with strategic customers.
Yeah, sounds like you guys are covering everything.
we do.
Yeah, so you guys do a lot of stuff. So what specifically here at Promat this year are you guys showcasing or exhibiting at your booth?
Yeah, so we have a few kiosks set up out front to make sure that our traditional stakeholders can get updates on the latest and greatest, a specific focus on warehousing, as well as a specific focus on transportation, right? But I think what underlies both of those is the convergence of the two into a more iteratively optimized supply chain solution, supply chain execution solution. And that's a lot of what we're talking about. What's also fairly dominant on display is our recent acquisition of Blue Yonder, which is an artificial intelligence-focused firm out of the EU. People who came out of the CERN Linear Accelerator, so you can get an appreciation of the scientific background that they bring to the table.
High tech.
Yeah, very, very high tech, and something that, as we look at that digital ecosystem, which we refer to as Luminate, our Luminate set of products, Blue Yonder overlays it and allows us not only to provide that enterprise visibility, but to apply machine learning and artificial intelligence to become more proactive, more prescriptive, and more autonomous in how we're orchestrating that supply chain. So lots of excitement in the booth around those items, both from how we're extending our leadership in each one of the independent areas, but more so in how we can really help our customers transform their businesses, transform their supply chains, and do so with a competitive advantage.
Yeah, and kind of make them sustain and then grow into the future as well, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right. So with the artificial intelligence, what has been kind of the reception from the warehousing community industry with artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so I'd say it's a strong response, right? Everybody's asking questions about how this can be applied.
Yeah.
And I will bundle both Luminate and Blue Yonder together because they're separate pieces of the same comprehensive solution. But everybody's really working with JDA right now. They're saying, how can I establish this enterprise visibility? And it's not just about getting a better handle on your transportation network and what's happening there or your warehousing network, but it's also taking a more comprehensive view of real-time signals that exist out in that digital ecosystem that can be ingested, or external insights that companies like Kites and Project 22 are developing that can drive better visibility into not only what we expect to happen, but what we can now see is happening in the real world to use to develop predictive insights about where the potential disruptions are going to occur and then what you can specifically do about it. So we view this as part of the evolution towards an autonomous supply chain, right? First getting the visibility, then getting the insight, both predictive and then prescriptive of what can I do about it. Our Luminate strategy and our control tower is focused on providing that visibility and providing those recommendations to our customers so that they can take action in real time. Now, the AI component of that really sits either independently or on top of Luminate to ingest much of that data, the historical trends, the external factors, so that we can make more intelligent recommendations about the potential disruptions or the opportunities from pricing and promotions all the way down to prescriptive transportation expectations of when is that truck actually going to arrive, understanding weather patterns, understanding traffic patterns. And by doing so, really leverage that information to become more intelligent in our recommendations to the customer about here's your options, right? Your truck's going to be late. Well, is it going to be 3 days late, 4 days late? Maybe it's an overseas shipment. So what do you do about it? Can you alternate source some of that product? Can you transfer product from another facility? Or can you change the mode when it hits that port to accelerate the delivery and meet your service level commitment of where that product is bound for in the end state, right? Yeah. The key is all really providing better visibility at the end of the day of how do I ensure I meet my customer commitments.
Definitely, yeah. And like we talked about, the service levels are just, the expectation is getting crazier and crazier, tighter and tighter, right?
Far more aggressive,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so being So it's good. Sounds like you're helping us get smarter. Right?
Yes.
Help the customer more, right? So we love the customer. So.
That's right. That's right.
So, what would you say to, a distribution company, warehousing company that maybe they're not into automation and all this new technology yet, but they're looking to make that step? How would you recommend them first kind of getting into that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because all of the different industry participants, you can look at manufacturers, distributors, and retailers.
Yeah.
And the first thing you have to say is, well, what kind of business do you expect to be in 5 years, right? All of the direct-to-consumer channels and the increase in B2B visibility is really blurring the lines across those companies. So manufacturers are all trying to establish direct-to-consumer channels, right? Distributors may have a tighter relationship with the retailers that they've traditionally competed with, but as the retailers say, if I'm going to protect my brand, I need an endless aisle capability, but I can't do that by taking on more inventory and increasing my assets on hand. I need to rely more on my distributor network so that I can service those customers, right? So as I look at it, the first thing they need to answer is, what does my operational footprint look like, and how am I going to leverage more collaborative relationships, and what are my core capabilities that I need to focus on 5 years from now, and how do I start building that footprint today, right? Once you can establish that, then you can start thinking about how you lay out a roadmap to start developing those best-in-class capabilities, developing that enterprise visibility, expanding it out to your partner community, and really laying out the umbrella as wide as possible. Now, as it pertains to warehouse or automation, very dominant at this show, right? It's what part does that have to play in driving operational effectiveness? So no doubt you're going to walk around here with the pressures on workforce and with the pressures on speeding throughput. All of these different automation concepts have a part to play when you look at the different industries that need assistance, right? That need more risk mitigation opportunities and faster speed of throughput so that they can meet their service levels. How that works in a broader ecosystem, end-to-end supply chain, is the big question, right? So as we see our evolution of the warehouse management systems, we see a convergence with WES-like capability in terms of driving throughput. But when you think about WCSs, we think of it more as a just pipe and allowing these different automation providers to really do what they do best in orchestrating in very discrete and highly specialized environments how to drive throughput. The WMS doesn't necessarily need to, dictate how those tasks are performed by these types of automation, but we do need a good understanding of the capabilities, the availability of those resources, the throughput expectations, the inventory availability, so that we can more effectively orchestrate across multiple automation concepts and manual elements in the same distribution center, how to push throughput, how to push the order demand through those different areas with a full recognition of, at the end of the day, I just need to have that product on a FedEx truck at 6, on a UPS truck at 7, or on an LTL at 8, right? And by recognizing the capabilities and the opportunities, we can more holistically orchestrate and dynamically respond to those disruptions, over time. But most importantly, by decoupling from those high sensitivity, latency sensitive types of systems, we can become part of that overall cloud ecosystem that allows us to leverage the cloud computing power, which enables us to really embrace the machine learning and the artificial intelligence, not just of the WMS, but of the comprehensive supply chain suite. And that's the JDA differentiator that we see at the end of the day, is really a full appreciation for everything that can go wrong, everything that can go right, and how to track those trends over time to continue to calibrate your supply chain for the long term.
Definitely. Wow. Sounds like you guys are doing some really smart things, and you guys are really involved. So you're really looking to the future and trying to help your, clients as well get to the future as well, which is a great thing because I think, like you said, it looks from the outside, it's I just need to get a box on a FedEx truck at 6 o'clock, but there's so much more behind the scenes that's happening, right?
Absolutely.
And the more that we can know about that and the more efficient that we can do that, the better service level we can provide to everybody and the more efficiently we can operate. So thank you so much for talking to us on the New Warehouse Podcast. If people want to learn more about JDA, how can they do that?
Yeah, JDA.com is a great place to start. We certainly have a presence at shows like this, at Promat. We'll be at Gartner and many of the other events throughout the year, CSCMP. So you can go to JDA.com and learn a lot more. It's a very exciting time in the supply chain space, and we'd be happy to set up an industry briefing or a digitization briefing, talk to you about our strategies, what we're seeing in the marketplace, and how we can help your business grow.
Okay, definitely. And how can people get in touch with you and connect with you?
Oh, sure. I mean, I'm always available, so you can reach out to JDA and say specifically, I want to talk to the supply chain execution strategy guy, Matt Butler, and I'm happy to help out at any time.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Matt.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. We're here at Promat 2019, and I am in the North Hall at the MHS booth, and we're going to talk to Suhas Hajgude, who is the Director of Product Management here at MHS. He's going to tell us a little bit about what it is that MHS does, and then he's also going to tell us about what they're exhibiting and showcasing here today. So, Suhas, how are you?
Good. Thank you. Thanks for giving me an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
So MHS stands for Material Handling Systems. We are like a system integrators. We basically located in Louisville, Kentucky. That's our headquarters. We are system integrated around 1,500 employees we have there located there. So we are supplying equipment, facility, controls, hardware, software for parcel customers like UPS, DHL, FedEx. Those are our big customers. And also we also support to the distribution and fulfillment center customers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Wayfair. So right now we are here at the Promat. Thanks for giving us the opportunity at the Automat show. Definitely. We are displaying our hardware capability, software capability, controls, robotics. What we're displaying here, we're doing some of the good activities there. And also the IoT, Internet of Things, the buzzword you heard, Industry 4.0. Yes. So we are displaying some of the capability there under predictive maintenance, predictive analytics. So a lot of exciting opportunity for this area.
Definitely. So it sounds like you guys kind of cover a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
Right. So what would be, I guess, the ideal customer if people are listening and they're thinking about how they would work with you? What would be, if somebody was looking for something, what would they find from you guys?
So yeah, we are a big system integrators, MHS, MHSglobal.com, www.mhsglobal.com, that's our website. Okay. And also, if they can contact us, 1-888-444-MHS, that's our hotline. And I'm happy to support from our sales team, our support team, our engineering team that definitely support that. We are a global company. Yeah. We are not basically in Kentucky, but we are in Atlanta, Georgia, and also in Europe, Netherlands, Italy. And also we have some representatives in Asia, China. So we have everywhere global across the company.
Great to hear. So I see here in the booth you actually have Race the Robot. So what is that?
So it's a new showcase we did here because we have robotics capability. Yes. So we have some few projects, nice projects going robotic side. So the display is here. Please feel free to come here. It's a virtual reality, augmented reality. Okay. It's like a game. Basically you pick up the boxes and then put on the conveyors. Okay. That's a typical job normally skilled labor do at the site. Yes. So this is basically gives the idea how the work environment happen in the facility. Okay. So it's a pretty interesting game we want to showcase here.
Yeah. I see that MHS is the high score. I think that's rigged.
Yeah. I think someone from the game designer who looks like he made a high score, but a lot of customers came yesterday and day before that, and looks like they made a good points.
Definitely.
Just want to give the experience to customers also, and
how
also
does it work?
How the work environment, how the skills labor happen in the industry, and how the robotics and automations and predictive and IoT will help them definitely.
So you're talking about IoT and the robotics. So what do you think the future of the industry is for that in the distribution space?
Means it's a pretty advanced right now. Robotics it's a lot of early adopters are there. They want to do some few pilots, few showcase pilots to and see they get the experience. So I see a lot of interest from the customers. Internet of Things, predictive analytics, and also the robotics side. And I came from power industry. This is a new industry for me, but within 1 year I see a lot of customers are open to this environment.
Yeah, I think that's where it's at now. I mean, with the customer service level demands getting so high, you're trying to figure out how can you be the most efficient and optimize as much as possible.
Yeah, because that's the future, right? Mm-hmm. Because you see there's a shortage of skilled labor gap.
Definitely, yeah.
As we build more and more facilities, we will find hard to find the resources.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a time saver, cost saving for customers also, and more productivity.
Definitely. Yeah. So thank you, Suhas, for taking some time to talk to us on the New Warehouse podcast. And what's the website for MHS?
It's www.mhsglobal.com. That's our website.
Okay.
And also the phone number is 1-888-444 for MHS.
Okay, great to know. And we'll definitely post that information on our blog as well. So thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton here at Promat 2019, and we are at the enVista Core booth. And we're going to talk to Ken Mullen, who's an account executive with enVista. He's going to tell us what is enVista, what do they do, and he's also going to talk to us a little bit about what they're showing off here at their booth. So Ken, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, thanks Kevin. Doing well. So.
Good. So why don't you tell us what is enVista and what do you guys do?
Sure. So enVista is a global consulting firm, right? We do everything from supply chain to transportation logistics, and then we also feature a series of solutions that focus on unified commerce, mostly directed towards retail. And we're exhibiting and kind of have speaking engagements that are highlighting all of those segments of our business here at the show at Promat.
Got it. So what do you guys have going on in the booth here?
Yeah, so in the booth, we've got some customer testimonies. So some of our customers are here talking. Okay. We actually have some exhibits on the material handling side. So a robotics division that we just announced here at Promat that is new for us.
Yeah.
We have that exhibiting as well too. And then we have some software demonstrations that we're showing around the unified commerce piece as well. We've also done 2 out of our 3 speaking engagements around warehouse management, then the difference between that and warehouse execution, warehouse control systems, and then also talking about the value of order management systems, right, both for distributors and also for retailers as well.
Okay, great. And you guys are more focused on e-commerce? Is that
so correct? we do everything, right? So retail, direct-to-consumer is one of our largest verticals. We do a lot of work in the food and beverage industry, in the automotive aftermarket parts, in the third-party logistics space, and then obviously consumer products as well. So.
Okay. All right. So from a customer perspective, if people are looking to do some things with their operation, so what would they come to you specifically for?
Yeah, so a couple things there. So we're very agnostic when it comes to the supply chain side of our business. So walking in and looking at their operations from a warehousing perspective is very important. We're very unique in the marketplace that we can combine technology on the software, so like warehouse management, warehouse control system expertise, with best-in-class operations, so labor performance, operational best practices within a warehouse, and then the automation side of it as well too are all pillars that we have within our organization. And so not only can we go in and look at what a customer is doing really well, we can also look to see where there are some gaps and how to fill those gaps around all 3 of those tenets or those legs of the stool, if you will.
Okay, great. So what about, what do you think? So you guys come in and you try to make the supply chain better, right?
Right.
So with that being said, and Promat is all about the future of our industry, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think is happening and what's enVista? So you guys said you opened the robotics arm. So so obviously you guys are thinking that robotics is a big thing.
Well,
right?
I think automation in general. We have a lot of customers that are coming to us over the last 12 to 24 months and saying, how do we look at and basically brace for the challenges of a shrinking warehouse labor pool that is transitioning and moving very quickly and job shopping and everything for more money. And the rates for those resources are increasing as well too. And we have customers that are saying we're spending time and money training those resources, and if they're leaving right after that, I'm spending a lot of non-value added time and money doing that. So is automation an opportunity where it makes sense to bridge that gap? So I get a smaller labor pool that I can pay a little bit more and I'll keep more invested in my organization, but I offset a lot of that kind of very manual tasks with automation. So we feel like that we're very well positioned in the marketplace, not only to help companies consult on that, to build a business case around that, but then also to implement those solutions as well too. And we have a lot of customers, primarily in the retail space, that are looking at more dark warehouses, even dark retail stores, right? That you're seeing some of the Amazons and others that are kind of piloting as well too. How does that apply to them as well, and what's the right model for them accordingly? And again, we show them a wide variety of spectrums, from the low impact, low investment, all the way to high impact, high return, but high investment as well too.
Okay, all right, good stuff. So if somebody wanted to get involved with you guys, how would they go about that process?
Yeah, the easiest way is go right to our website, enVistaCorp.com. Okay. We're headquartered out of Indianapolis, right in the center of the country. That's the best way to reach out to us, and then we'll have one of our business development resources reach out, qualify, and have a conversation about any of our case studies. We have a lot of stuff on our website around case studies, white papers, thought leadership that is great for customers to take advantage of as well. So we'd love the opportunity to work and just have a conversation.
Okay, great. And your website is?
It's www.envistacorp.com.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Ken, for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your
All right, Kevin, thanks. Appreciate it.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more content from the New Warehouse, check out our new video series called All Hands on LinkedIn. Just search for the New Warehouse on LinkedIn and follow along.